right. The big like it or not segment has to do with Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Namath had so much to say about starting quarterback as of right now, Zach Wilson.
He calls into a radio show and just completely craps all over Zach Wilson. Says that he's seen enough, that he can't throw the ball. He's got some arm talent, but he doesn't have the brain to be in the NFL. He says the Jets should trade him. For what, by the way? He said that the coach and the GM don't know how to pick the right players, which, by the way, I kind of agree on. Yep. But the point is, I mean, he did this for absolutely nothing. He just called it a radio show like some angry guy that would call in after a Bills loss. He's an NFL legend. Not to mention, he's played under the bright lights in New York City. His career in New York ended poorly, and he was being criticized unfairly for injuries that he couldn't handle. Also, why don't you Google some of the off-the-field stuff that almost cost him a year of his career for being involved with potential mobsters and owning a bar in New York City, and whispers of gambling that cost Bart Starr time in the NFL? Like, why he believed this was a good idea for no reason, I do not understand.
First, you did a lot of research on Joe Namath, but go ahead. That's a lot of information. I did not know.
Do I like it? As a Bills fan, I love it, but I also feel kind of bad. It's almost like kicking someone when they're down.
Yeah.
But to me, like, the headline here is like, who cares what Joe Namath has to say? I agree with all of your points, and like, I understand that like he's unprovoked calling in and giving his opinion. That's fine. Welcome to every radio show ever in existence. Why is this getting such a headline when someone like Joe Namath has something to say?
It is in New York. I know there's an older crowd in New York that still follows and listens to their legends. As long as they're alive, they got something to say. Everybody wants to hear from them. But this seems to be a lot for... I kind of feel bad. I was rooting for him, not against the Bills, but I was rooting for him against the Patriots in that game to try to win it.
Yeah, it is weird to root... Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
yes, I do.
The kid didn't want to be in this situation. He's in it. He learned from a legend for about 3 months, and then the legend goes down, and now the season's on you again.
But you go for these weird things going on. Because, yeah, I don't want Zach Wilson to succeed as a Bills fan. But, yes, I do feel bad for the kid because some things have gotten taken out of his hands. The other strange thing to me is how all of a sudden Robert Saleh and the front office of the Jets have been absolved of the issues here because, well, Aaron Rodgers went down, and that was your plan. Is everyone forgetting that Zach Wilson was the second overall pick that Robert Saleh and his team picked themselves 3 years ago? It's not like they had Trevor Siemian, who they just signed to the practice squad this week, like all of a sudden, he's the only guy we got and we picked him off. No, this was the guy that was going to be your franchise quarterback for years. You blew it after 2. He has to come back and play, and everyone's like, oh, well, what fault is there? Don't pick that guy, Joe Namath.
There's no way that Robert Saleh and the Jets are absolved of this. There's reporting out of New York from ESPN's Rich Cimini today saying that he is at risk of losing the locker room defensively and offensively. It's their fault. They're holding it.
If only there was a guy who for the last 6 months has been yelling into a camera and into a microphone that he was going to lose this locker room when things inevitably went south because he's not a good coach. And everyone was like, oh, he runs stairs before the game. I'm not going to say I told you so.
That's good to know.